Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and today I'm joined by Sean Connolly. We might also get a guest appearance from the one and only Liam Carrigan from Japan. Here he is. He's coming in to join us. It's Celtic 2, Newcastle 0. I'm going to start with you, Sean, in terms of a first-half performance. And, I don't think that's Celtic's strongest starting 11, but we've done really well. I think we've equipped ourselves really well. Who stood out for you in the first half?
I think Engels has probably been the best player out there, but Trusty as well has been excellent. Newcastle have trouble with us. It's not been one-way traffic. We're doing well. We're playing well to be 2-0 up, but the game's coming in. It's ebbing and flowing. It's coming in spells. Kind of what we want, right? In terms of preparation for European football. It's not the sort of game we're going to be facing too often in Scotland. Even when we play the second best team in Scotland, it doesn't play out like that. I was thinking more the team that finished second in the league, but but even those games don't normally ebb and flow like that either. They normally you get like 15-20 minute spells where you dominate. Europe, it's much more kind of shorter spells of, and we Newcastle started the game pressing so high, and I was like, wow, we're going to be in for a really tough afternoon. And then they couldn't keep up. We played out it, and then they couldn't keep up that pressure. I guess they're a week or two behind us in pre-season, and that kind of told for us in the end. To it, we did play through it well. We did compose ourselves well, and then we were even able to get in behind them with pace a couple of times. You can see their class, though. Their set piece routines are great. Their press is great. They've caught us offside quite a few times with the line is so straight along the back that they've got there. But then they've also got players not there, like that goalkeeping mistake was a shocker. The boy that gives away the penalty should have already been yellow carded before he gave away. I don't know how he's not on a yellow card. There's the one where he tries to pull Maeda down in the midfield, and then it should have been a yellow card for the penalty as well. So he should be off. And then Trusty gets a yellow card for something where he wins the ball. It was bizarre. Go Nick Walsh. But yeah, no, I think it's good. It's been a good quality game. It's been it's not the intensity that you would get obviously in a competitive game, but it's still been good quality, and it's been a good test, and we've acquitted ourselves well.
Yeah, we definitely have. We'll look at some of the individual performances in that first half. It was an enjoyable one, of course. I was just saying to Sean before you joined us there, Liam, it's pretty clear when the Green Brigade don't have their normal position in the stadium, because Newcastle have obviously brought their singing voices. Not the best songbook in the world, it's got to be said. But unfortunately,
I had the sound down, but from reading the comments, it's probably just as well that I did.
Aye, you're probably right. You're probably best to keep the sound down, actually, in relation to the songbook. That's disappointing. We've given them big plaudits and all the rest of it for the travelling support, but, the Rangers songs, man, just keep them to the other side of Glasgow, I would suggest. I want to start off with the guy who just scored the goal before half-time, Johnny Kenny. He was subject to conversation in the pre-match, Liam. Obviously, that is followed by a lot of people giving their their feelings about Adam Ida in that situation. Johnny Kenny, who worked so hard against Sporting Lisbon, he's done the same again today. He was rewarded at the end with his goal, and I say rewarded because he worked hard for it. He had a good chance, maybe just a couple of minutes before that, where he probably should have scored as well. But in the first half, I'm looking at that and thinking, you know what? There's a guy that I wouldn't have batted an eyelid last season if Johnny Kenny left the football club. But he might work hard enough to get into the plans of being a squad player, and I think he done really well in the first half.
I don't want to get in the habit of kicking a guy when he's down, right? But see, considering the way Ida has played recently and the way Kenny's been playing the last couple of games, it would be very, very unfair if Kenny dropped out of the team for Ida at the moment. Yamada might come in and be better than both of them. I don't know. But as it stands, I definitely think Kenny is ahead of Ida as it is right now. Because the thing is with that second goal, right? Aye, the keeper makes a mistake, but you've got to have the striker's instinct to follow through on that and anticipate that the keeper might make a mistake. It was a really good reading of the game from Kenny to get that chance and to stick it away so calmly.
and keep the pace up. You know, you actually watch the angle from behind the goals. You can see that there's a slight little hesitation where he's run, but he keeps the pace up, which means that he's in a perfect position just to slot it away. And again, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I actually do rate Adam Idah. I don't know if there's issues at the moment with his sharpness or his fitness. But I said after the Sporting Lisbon game, if we're doing it on form, Kenny starts against Newcastle. He did. He gets his goal. Jerry Doorstop reckons Kenny over Idah. Aye, but you know what? Idah might come on in the second half, and I hope he does. And hopefully, you know, he plays with a confidence because he's definitely.
I'd love to see the big man come on and score a hat trick just to shut me and everybody else up.
He's a confidence player. Yeah, you know, I know it's a bit of a cliche, Sean, but you know, for strikers, goals, it's confidence, isn't it? It's momentum. It's all of these things. And I would like to see him come on and get some minutes in his legs, because as much as we're giving the plaudits to Kenny, I don't want that to then reflect on, Idah's no good enough.
I thought Kenny's performance was very similar to what we normally get from Adam Idah in a sense. Where it was different was there was a little bit more pace to his movement. And his work rate was on the upper end of what we normally get from Adam Idah, so there was that. But then he was keeping it simple, you know, like when he was coming back and taking one touch and cycling possession. He was what he didn't get. There was a couple of times where the ball went long and he couldn't compete for it in a way that Adam Idah would have been able to compete for it. So when the ball went high up, so that was different. But you know, like there was that chance where Yang puts on a plate for him and he absolutely fluffs it, which again is something we see regularly from Adam Idah. So I don't think, like, other than the difference between Kenny being more focused on pace in behind and Idah having more of a high ball outlet, I think everything else has been effectively the same. It's been the simple link up and you know, the missed chance, and yeah, the work rate. I think the edge. I get what everyone's saying about Johnny Kenny should be in there ahead of Idah on merit, but I think the only difference between them at the moment is, apart from slightly different styles, is Johnny Kenny's more work rate. I would actually argue that Adam Idah's having a bigger body of evidence in terms of his ability to finish with composure. We've not really seen that yet from Johnny Kenny. We've seen some goals, but they've mostly been tap-ins that are just built around good movement, you know, like which is a skill in itself. I'm not denigrating that in any way. But Adam Idah's got a body of work where he can finish from angles and heights, and you know, and yeah, he misses them, and yeah, he's disappears from games at times and has a heavy touch. But when he's on, he can finish a ball for sure, and he's shown that.
Yeah, I think on a personal level, as a fan watching Kenny, I've gone from probably, you know, accepting that bid from Bolton if they were to double it, because that's what Celtic wanted for him at that time, to saying, you know what, he might actually be quite a handy player to have in the squad. So it certainly turned my view around on him. Joe Hamilton, let's just take a moment to talk about the Bricky. What a pass, by the way, over the top for Yang for that chance we've spoken about. The Bricky, low maintenance, just comes in, does his job. He's grown his hair out. Oh, I love him. And Yang, leads us on to Yang, Liam, in relation
Yang has been brilliant. Yang has been really, really good today, I think.
He's been very good. I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't put my finger on it with Yang, right?
I get the impression you disagree with me, Sean.
He's the only player that's been caught in possession multiple times.
You know what I think about Yang, Trusty, and Engels that was lacking, right? Three completely different players, different parts of the park. It was aggression. I know that sounds simple, right? And I don't mean be dirty, just be aggressive. You know, run aggressively, you know, with that intent. And I think I've seen that with Yang today. I think I've seen it with Trusty in defence. He's, again, some people might say, you know, he's a better defender when he's defending. That sounds daft, but when you're a Celtic defender at home, domestically, you're going to get a lot of the ball when you're not defending, Sean. And I think Trusty's shown that tonight. He played really well against Atalanta when we were, you know, backs against the wall performance. When he's defending, he looks really good. You know, clearing up behind Kasper Schmeichel and all that. We've seen that aggression in Engels today. Yeah, he got the goal. I was really willing him to. At first, I thought Callum's taking the penalty off him. He gets the goal. You know, again, really willing him to do well. And in many ways, Idah as well. I just want more aggression from these guys. So it's good to see when Yang, you know, showing a bit of purpose and a bit of intent, Liam.
Yeah, it's good that he has still got the confidence to press forward. And you know, as Sean said, he has made mistakes, right? Yeah, he's made mistakes, absolutely. But he still keeps trying to get into those forward positions. for that ball that he put across for the Kenny chance, I really liked the way when there was the long ball, and see the way he just kind of trapped it on his, I think it was on his thigh, and he just kept running with it. That was that's a really difficult skill to do on the fly like that, and I thought that's a bit of class there.
But the big question is, are you in the Yang Gang yet, Liam?
I've always been in the Yang Gang.
You've always been in it.
Don't tell the wife because she doesn't like Koreans. But
Sean, are you in the gang?
I do like Yang. I do. Like, I know I'm saying he's been caught in possession, and that's just an observation. That's not a criticism. You just want me to. I'm just trying to make a leveling out of, like, he's not been the best player on the pitch, but he has been effective, and I do like him as a squad player, and so I would prefer that he stay rather than go. I like him as our fourth winger, for example, or whatever, wherever you have him in that rotation, you know.
There's been big question marks over the three, what we continually call the big signings from last summer, you know, Trusty, Engels and Ida. But, you know, based on today's performance, Trusty has showed up pretty well. Pierce Gormley says Trusty, well done also. I agree with that. Playing like a centre-half, says Jean-Paul II. What's your take on Trusty? Where are you sitting with Trusty, Sean? Is he a guy that you think can come good? Can you see a partnership between him and CCV flourishing? Can you still see that happening at Celtic?
Potentially. I wonder that the fact he's beside Dane Murray today is what's making him look better. And they normally just, I guess he doesn't really change his ability, but maybe he's taking more responsibility today. I don't know, maybe it's that. Maybe he's used to relying on the crutch of Carter Vickers, or maybe he just looks worse when he's beside a better defender in Carter Vickers. You know, there's that old aspect of Harold Bratback looked terrible because otherwise it was Henrik Larsson, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I never really wrote him off anyway. To be fair, I liked his tangibles, like his pace, his strength. I think he just needed to get a bit more consistent above the shoulders. He's still the thing that he's been poor at today, and has been a long-term issue, is he's still not great when he's under pressure in that corner. And I don't know that there's many centre-backs, or I don't know there's many in our budget that could actually play us out of a high press like that against a quality team like Newcastle or whatever Champions League team we're facing. So I don't want to ping him for that, to be honest. It's also with Inamura in there, who's done well. He's been quite tidy. He had one pass where he rattled it off the Celtic player. It was like, oh, come on, man. But he's apart from that, he's been really sharp. Like, his passing is really tidy. It's great pace, great direction. He's very composed. Continues to impress, as we said.
Yeah, we've got to talk about Inamura because I do think he's kind of like positive. He's brave on the ball. He's always shown for the ball, Sean, and when he gets it, he does try to get the forward pass. But I've seen a few of the kind of cross-field passes, etc., across the back as well, which in itself shows a bit of confidence. You've got to be tight with him. I've been really impressed with Inamura. He could well be one of the guys that came in kind of under the radar, even under Brendan Rodgers' radar, and he kind of proves us all wrong, and he could be a really capable backup. I'm looking across the back four, if you like. I think we're okay with goalkeepers. Absolutely happy with the goalkeeper situation. Right back, a lot of comments that come through is we still need to upgrade Alistair Johnston's backup. And, I just think Ralston's, he's there and he's always there, and you know what he can do, and he's really reliable. Left back, obviously, we were thinking someone else has to come in, and we've had links to various players. Maybe Inamura's going to be a bit of a surprise back up for Tierney. And then in the central defensive areas, it's clear that Murray's a Brendan Rodgers project. Brendan Rodgers wants to bleed him into the team. He's not going to get a game ahead of CCV, but he'll be his kind of deputy. And on the left, I think the big argument is who's the first choice at the moment. Is it Scales? Is it Trusty? But based on that first half performance, if Trusty could do that regularly, he's absolutely a first choice player, Liam, for me. And then you start thinking to yourself, we could have a partnership on our hands. It was stop-start last season with the centre halves. A lot of that's down to CCV and the fact that he's not always there as well with regards to his injuries, etc. But I don't know. Trusty just gives you an insight into something that we might have this season. I hope he comes through. I hope he becomes our first choice.
The thing with Trusty, right? I wonder if today, as a guy who played in the English Premier League with a team that struggled badly, maybe he personally feels that, particularly today, going up against an EPL team who are going to be, probably top 6 next season, he feels that he's specifically got a point to prove today because he's playing like a man possessed. He really is out to put on a show today. So I do wonder if there's an element of that just to show the English team that he could still cut it at that level, you know?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the teams are coming back onto the park. I think there's been loads of changes in the Newcastle side. So let's rejoin the action. Thank you, everybody. 1,600 strong on a halftime bulletin for a friendly game is unbelievable. A wee bit like the Celtic support today at Celtic Park. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. We'll be back at full time. So go enjoy the second half and then join us again at full time on a Celtic State of Mind.